many news outlets have tried to instill fear upon American citizens about Ebola. And they are using fear tactics, along with the government officials even using fear tactics to try to install fear within people about Ebola. And they're blowing it out of proportion, making it into something that it isn't as serious as what they're making it out. Is a perfect example of how the media is blowing it out of proportion. He shows how some of the even most idiotic things they say, like how there's like a magic serum that Ebola patients are being used and they're being completely symptom-free after using this magic serum. And obviously that's crazy. Like, no one's going to actually believe that some magic serum is going to cure everything. That doesn't happen. And also he shows some other examples where the news media is overhyping it, and they're talking about how it's going to spread throughout America. And he has like a hazmat suit on, and the video source will be below, but he has a hazmat suit on, and he's pretending that he feels very threatened by Ebola, and then keeps taking it off by some contradictory reports as well of where they're playing it down and showing that maybe it's not as threatening as once believed. But news media sources just always try to jump on the hype train as fast as possible, trying to make as much money and profit off of it as possible. And the bias really shouldn't be used as credible sources, such as NBC. There was actually an article that I read about how the last Ebola patient was actually released from the hospital like about a month ago, and the patient is completely symptom-free. There has not been a single patient after that has been, well, not really diagnosed, but suspected of Ebola since then, so it's not really a threat in America. Mostly unbiased, and it kind of shows that the virus is, of course, serious, but more towards third world countries and not the U.S. And it can be a serious threat to those third world countries. In Africa is where the disease originated. It was spread through fruit bats, and 15% of people in Nigeria actually have a natural immunity to Ebola from their antibodies. So they could actually use some research, and scientists could research and use the antibodies to actually create a vaccine to cure Ebola. And we could prevent that, and it would, it's not as threatening as the flu is, of course. And it's not even airborne, even though the disease has been, or the virus has been mutating over time. It's not even airborne. So overall, the news has just really been blowing out of proportion, and I believe that Jon Stewart has the perfect example of how the media is just hyping this disease so much, and it really isn't what it has been portrayed through in the media. It's not that serious. And even out of the interviews that I did, I figured out that the two people that I interviewed did not believe that Ebola was what the media hyped it out to be. So I believe that the media really just took the disease way too seriously, and they didn't realize that it wasn't much of a threat in the United States.